Okay, part 4 of our exam review. The last 3 parts you can find on my channel. If you like my videos, like, subscribe, comment. Subscribing really helps. Thanks for the support. You can find the study guide and the practice exam in the comments below or in the description. There will also be cards that pop up in the video that you can click on. So let's get into it. 31. The behavior results in the addition of something that increases the behavior in the future. What does this describe? This should be automatic at this point if you've been studying, okay? So what do you notice immediately? The addition. What do we know about adding something? Positive. And then it's increasing the behavior. What increases behavior? Reinforcement. So we're adding something that increases the behavior. What would that be? Positive reinforcement. If you're studying, if you're learning your terms, if you're using a study guide, okay, this question should be super simple, right? Don't miss these questions. These are the easiest ones on the exam. Addition, positive, increase, reinforcement. What is it? Positive reinforcement. 32. Every time Alex yells out in class, he is sent to the principal's office. This goes on for 2 weeks, and Alex's yelling increases. What is happening in this scenario? Okay, so this is the tricky one. They want to make sure you're paying attention, right? What are they describing? They're saying he's sent to the principal's office, okay? In non-ABA terms and traditional terms, right, we think of this as punishment. But is this actually punishment? What is punishment? Punishment is when the behavior decreases. What is Alex's behavior doing? Increasing. So what do we know about behavior increasing, right? Look above. Reinforcement, okay? So what is happening to his behavior? It's increasing, therefore, Alex's behavior is being reinforced, okay? Is it being punished? No. If Alex's yelling was decreasing, it would be punished, but it's not, it's increasing, okay? C, it cannot be determined. No, because we know right here it is increasing. Alex's behavior is being put on extinction. No, because it's increasing, they're reacting to it, okay? It's not an extinction. Don't get tripped up with the punishment questions, right? We're not looking at what we consider traditional punishment. We're looking at what happens to the behavior. That's it. Is the behavior increasing, decreasing, or staying the same? Okay, that's what you're looking at. This scenario, Alex's yelling is increasing, therefore it's being reinforced. During the night, Joanne gets out of bed to ask mom to get her a snack. In the past, mom has complied and given Joanne a granola bar. For the past week, when Joanne asks for a snack, mom has not given her one. What is Joanne's mom implementing? Okay, so let's look at this. Joanne asks for a snack. Joanne's mom gives her a snack. Okay, so she reinforces it. The behavior is continuing to happen. And now mom says, I'm not going to give you one. What is that? When we stop giving reinforcement, what are we doing? Putting the behavior on extinction. Again, if you know your definitions, if you're studying your study guide, okay, this should be easy, right? Negative reinforcement, okay? This is not negative reinforcement because we're not taking anything away that's increasing the behavior, okay? We're just removing all reinforcement, okay? And negative reinforcement, it's still reinforcing. In this particular case, though, okay, we're taking away the reinforcement, right? If you stop reinforcing a behavior, okay, like asking for a granola bar, extinction, okay? Response blocking, no, because Joanna's still asking for the snack, she's just not getting one. And punishment, we're not punishing the behavior because we don't know what's happening to the behavior. Okay, we haven't changed anything. We've just stopped providing reinforcement. Okay, so if you've just stopped reinforcing a previously reinforced behavior, it's extinction. This is a very confusing question. Okay, because all these look good, right? Okay, but all we're doing, okay, we haven't changed anything. We haven't added anything. We're not really taking anything away. We're just no longer giving her reinforcement. Okay, and when you're no longer providing reinforcement, you're putting a behavior on extinction. Extinction requires what? Withholding some reinforcement, withholding all reinforcement, proper implementation only some of the time, or punishment. Okay, so this is the key to extinction. If you're going to put a behavior on extinction, extinction needs to occur as close to 100% of the time as possible. Now, since we're human, it's not always going to be 100%. Okay, but you can't do extinction for half the time. Okay, so if you're the RBT and you're doing extinction and the parent's not, that's not going to be effective, okay? Extinction requires withholding all reinforcement, okay? So you can't sometimes put it on extinction, sometimes not. If it's on extinction, it has to happen all the time, okay? It's not some, okay? It's not some, and extinction is not punishment. Big misconception. Extinction is not punishment, okay? In our previous example, this was not punishment, okay? We're not punishing, right? We're removing reinforcement or stopping reinforcement, okay? So we're withholding all reinforcement. Extinction has to happen all the time, not some of the time, okay? 35, a BCBA instructs the RBT to put all attention-seeking behavior on extinction. In order to gain attention, the client will tap their pencil on the table. During extinction, the tapping has gotten more intense and is occurring more frequently. Yesterday, the client tapped the pencil so hard that the pencil broke. What is most likely occurring? So what happens when you put a behavior on extinction, okay? A very specific term, okay, that you should know. What happens, okay? Tapping is getting more intense, right? She's not getting attention. So finally she hits it so hard, breaks the pencil in a desperate attempt to get attention. What is happening? Is the RBT violating the ethical code? No, as long as the RBT is implementing extinction correctly, she's not violating the ethical code. An extinction burst. Yes, this is what we're looking for, right? As soon as you put a behavior on extinction, right, it's going to start to increase in intensity, up, 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 and then eventually it's going to burst and it's going to start to decrease, okay? So she hits the pencil so hard, the pencil breaks, okay? This might be the extinction burst where now it goes down, okay? An extinction burst is a predictable increase in behavior for a behavior that's put on extinction, okay? So this is predictable. We know it's going to happen. See, the client is angry. Remember, we don't define angry and sad and mad, okay? We don't know what's happening here. So C should never be an option, okay? Poor implementation of the procedure. No, she's actually doing a really good job, okay? If you see the extinction burst, you know you're doing extinction correctly, okay? So B, extinction burst. 36, what is the most common graph used in ABA? This is just one of those questions that you just kind of got to know, right? There's no trick or any secret. You just want to know this, right? So the answer is a line graph, all right? 99% of your graphs will be line graphs, right? That you look at, okay? That's just how it is. So graphing questions on the ABA, on the RBT exam, really straightforward, really easy. Don't get tripped up, okay? They ask this, you just have to know it. Common graph, line graph. What is the primary difference between discrete trial training, so DTT, and incidental teaching or natural teaching? So this is a more tricky one, okay, because we don't get too detailed, right, on the RBT exam and the nuts and bolts of these, right? So as an RBT, you're going to be doing both of these, right? Discrete trial training and incidental teaching. The best way to remember this is DTT happens as a table. Incidental teaching happens in the environment, okay? That's how you want to think about it, right? DTT is rapid at the table, very contrived. Incidental happens just in the natural environment. So that being said, okay, what is the main difference between the two? Incidental teaching doesn't use reinforcement. No, we use reinforcement in natural teaching, okay? We use natural reinforcement or any sort of reinforcement, but we're still using reinforcement. A is out. Incidental teaching occurs in the natural environment. Yes, right? So we're using the environment. We're using things that occur naturally, right? We're not trying to contrive it. We're trying to look for opportunities to teach using the actual environment, okay? DTT, we're at the table, right? We're strengthening behavior, okay? We're doing a lot of trials, a lot of rapid trials, okay? We're trying to teach a behavior and strengthen the behavior. Incidental teaching, now we're looking for opportunities to teach that behavior in their actual environment, right? And generalize it and maintain it, okay? So that is the main difference. See, there is no difference. That's obviously not the answer. And DTT is better. No, they each have their purposes, okay? So think of them as two umbrellas, right? And they all different purposes and different goals live under each, okay? So one is not better than the other. They have their purposes. DTT typically you'll use to teach and strengthen a behavior. Incidental teaching you'll use to generalize and maintain a behavior, okay? So incidental teaching occurs in the natural environment. 38. Which of the following describes a contingency? So this is a word that you need to become very familiar with, right? As an RBT, you need to be implementing a lot of contingencies. So what does that mean? Think about practice, okay? If we're gonna work on something, right, I say, okay, if we get 5 correct, then we get a token. That's a contingency, right? Mom says, if you do your homework, then we play video games. That's a contingency, right? Um, if I buy my wife flowers, then she'll be happy with me, right? That's a contingency, okay? So look at those key words, if, then. So a contingency is what? Increases behavior? Maybe, right? We don't have enough information, okay? We can put contingencies in place, right? But we're not sure what they're going to do until we actually see them work. So we don't know about A, okay? B, if then statement. If you do your homework, then you get video games. If you behave at school, then you get ice cream. If you have a good session, then I buy you a toy, right? All contingencies. If, then. If, then. As an RBT, get real used to saying if, then, okay? Punishment procedure, again, no, we don't know what the contingency is doing. A way to measure how long something takes. What is that? That would be like a duration measurement, okay? So a contingency is simply an if-then statement. 39, which of the following reinforcement schedules is based on an average number of correct responses? Okay, reinforcement schedule question. You just have to know these, right? So this is one of the more tricky things to remember as a new RBT. Okay, so what are our different options, right? We have fixed, we have variable, we have interval, we have ratio, right? FRs, FIs, BRs, BIs. Let's look at our wording here, okay? Based on an average, what do we know about the average number in reinforcement, right? Is the average number a fixed number or is it a variable number? Well, it's going to be a variable number, right? Okay, because it could be 3, it could be 2, it could be 4. Okay, we're just looking for the average. So we know it's a V. Okay, if this said based on an exact number, that would be fixed. Okay, that number doesn't change, but we're looking for a number that changes. So automatically we know we need a variable. And if you can get there, this question becomes easy, right? Because there's only one answer. Okay, maybe you don't know. Okay, so now we need to find the number of correct responses. Correct responses. So is that interval or is that ratio, right? That's got to be a ratio because interval is time, right? If this said an average number of time, right, then that would be an interval, but we're looking for correct responses. So we need an average number, a variable of correct responses, ratio. So VR3, boom, okay? That's how you need to start thinking about these reinforcement schedule questions. Just break it down. Fixed doesn't change, variable changes or is an average. Ratio, response, interval, time. Once you do that, it becomes really easy because then you can just look at the question, okay, and match it up. Average, variable, correct responses, ratio, VR, VR, boom. All right, last one for today. RBTs should record session notes when? When should you record session notes? And these might be called SOAP notes, okay, where you're at, but when should you record session notes? Each session, weekly, monthly, or yearly, okay? Simple ethics question they're gonna ask you, right? You should do it every session, right? End of session, okay? Your company's gonna have their own protocol, but end of session, right? Last 10, 15 minutes, write down what happened that day. You gotta be objective, okay? You gotta be complete. How are behaviors? What did you use? Were parents involved? Did you master anything? So on and so forth. And that happens every single session, okay? This helps the BCBA, this helps your other RBTs, okay? Continue learning and growing with the client, okay? And it's also, okay, really a requirement. So each session, record your session notes. Okay, that's part 4, wrapping up. Remember, like, subscribe. You can find the materials below, okay? I'll post part 5 either end of this week or early next week. As always, thank you for the support and keep watching.